Hi everyone, it's Lynn Dion from Pink Whisper Designs. Today I've got a brand new matchbook to show you, and for those of you who are collecting these matchbooks like I am, you're going to love this one. This one is called the Matchbook Golf Shop. But what I also want to mention is there's 3 other brand new matchbooks in this release. There's the Music Shop, the Bait and Tackle Shop, and then there's one called the Gnome Home. And I'll be doing videos on several of these, so keep an eye out for that. You may want to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of these new videos. And let's start out by creating the base for our matchbook and the envelope. And to do that, we're going to be using this Matchbook template die set. And so you need this to create all of the matchbooks. And this has some cute little icons, some extra windows. That little flap there can be used for a sentiment. There's a couple of rugs. And then there's this little easel that you can also use. And then you would also need the Matchbook envelope die set. And again, this is a separate die set, and this will fit all of your little matchbooks. And this comes with a couple cute little items. It comes with that little bow and that little mini envelope and a tag as well. So again, you need these two to create any of your matchbooks and envelopes. So I've got the 2 main dies from both of those sets. And I'm using the Christmas Magic paper pack, and look at how pretty these colors are. So even though it's Christmas, we're going to go ahead and grab that really pretty stripe. It's got some blues, reds, and greens in it. And it's got the stripe on one side and the plaid on the other side, which is perfect for our matchbooks since both sides will show. So I'm going to decide on a color here from that same paper pack for my envelope, and I decided to go with that green polka dot. So you have to decide which will be the inside of your matchbook and which will be the outside. So by placing the die on the plaid, that will be the outside of my little matchbook, and that stripe will be on the inside. I am lining it up nice and straight. That's all I'm pointing to there, is that you want to make sure you line this up nice and straight. And also, if it has any specific pattern to it, you want to determine which direction that's going to go in when this is folded. So you want to take that into consideration as well. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this one. I'm going to have the little polka dots on the inside and the stripes on the outside. And again, I'm lining it up nice and straight. I'm using some post-it tape to tape this down, just so it doesn't slide around when I'm running it through the die cutting machine. I'll just cut away any excess, and we can save that for later. So let's go ahead and run these through the Spellbinders Platinum 6 die cutting machine. And then there are score lines. Now on the plaid you can't see it, but here you can get a good look at those score lines. So I'm just folding right along the score lines that are created by the die. I'm using my bone folder to press those out. And do keep in mind I've done several videos on the matchbooks. And if you want to take a look at those, you can just go to my blog, and in the search bar just type in the word matchbook and several will come up. Now this is how it folds up. This is so cute. It creates this little matchbook, and I'll just quickly fold it up so that you can see how small it will be when it's completed. Now let's go ahead and create the envelope. This has a double score line right there, and because we need a little bit of thickness for our matchbook, it's kind of tough sometimes to score and fold on that second line. I'm just using my acrylic block and using that to press that right along the edge of the acrylic block. That just helps me score that second line nicely. So again, I'm just lining up that edge with that score line and pressing it down. You certainly don't have to do this, but I just find it a little bit easier to do my scoring if I use that acrylic block. So you can see that envelope has a little bit of dimension to it, and our matchbook is going to fit right inside. I'm not going to seal up the envelope just yet. I like to wait until my matchbook is completed just to make sure it's going to fit it perfectly. And when we're ready to glue that, I'll use some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to glue that together. But right now, I'm going to just set that aside. So next, let's take a look at the brand new Matchbook Golf Shop. And this is just so cute. It's got everything you would find in your favorite little golf shop. It's got clubs and shoes and t-shirts and all kinds of fun stuff. So let's go ahead and stamp all of these items from the stamp set, which does include the coordinating dies as well. I've got some Versafine Onyx black ink. I'll be stamping this onto some Strathmore Bristol Smooth 100-pound cardstock. And I'm just using my STAMPendable stamp press to press that out. Let's go ahead and start our coloring. I'll be listing the colors we're using in the upper left-hand corner as we're going along. Once I've used all the colors and I start to repeat the colors, I won't keep listing those. So if I don't list it in the corner, it's a color that I've already used. And these are the Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens, which are a water-based marker. And I'll be using the Zig Blender pen to do my blending. I'm starting with that overcast sky to do this little golf bag. So I will list and link all of the new matchbooks for you down below, but I also want to mention that there is a bundle set, the Matchbook Bundle, which is also listed and linked down below, and that is currently 16% off, so that's a really good value. You may want to check that out. Now what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to put on a little bit of music. I'll continue that coloring. I did speed it up for you so it doesn't take too long. And I'll show you exactly how we assemble this cute little matchbook. So I'll continue the coloring and I'll meet you on the other side. So we've finished up the coloring, and then what I like to do is take the light gray marker and just go right along those score lines that we're going to be folding on, just to take away that white, because sometimes when you fold it you don't end up right on that score line. So I put a little gray there just to fill that in. Now I'm going to take my steel die cutters. This is a product that Art Impressions is carrying now, and these are really great. I'm going to cut apart my dies. I'll use some post-it tape and just tape these down, and then we can run those through the die cutting machine. Now let's go ahead and do our folding. So on each of these you have 2 score lines. So I'm going to fold it and then fold it again, and that's going to create that little dimensional piece. And then for these, they just have 1 score line and 1 little flap. And then same thing for this. And just using your bone folder to press those out and get a nice crisp crease on those. Now I did decide I wanted to put a sentiment right here on the flap. So before I start assembling this, let's go ahead and stamp that. And this says, "Let's Party," which is really cute. And it's in that same Matchbook stamp set. So let's go ahead and stamp this. I'm using that same Versafine Onyx black ink. And I'm just making sure I line that up nice and straight right on that little flap. Once that was all set, let's go ahead and start our assembly. So we've got the Matchbook die template, and I did decide I wanted to create a little wood floor for this, for our little shop. So I've got some wood grain paper, and I'm just going to be die cutting the portion that will be the floor. So that's the portion that die cuts that little notch. And to do this, I'm using that paper there from the Christmas Season 2 paper pack. And the back side of this paper is a lighter wood grain, so either one of these would be really pretty. I'm just going to run through that section that I need, just so that I don't have to waste any extra of this paper. And then I'm just going to cut away any excess. So I'm just following that score line and just cutting off that excess. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue this right into our matchbook. You want to make sure you line up that little notch. You want to make sure that notch still opens and closes. So I'm going to place plenty of glue on here, again, because it is an interactive card. So I'm going to make sure that this stays down nice and flat. But I am going to use my finger just to spread that glue out a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and line this up. And again, you want to make sure that notch lines up with the notch on your matchbook. So I'm just going to line that up and press that into place. And I'm just checking that little notch to make sure it's still open. You don't want to glue that shut, so just kind of check that and make sure it's still working. Now we've got the folds on this main piece of our little matchbook, and what we want to do is just place glue on this end flap. So I'm going to place some glue right along this end flap, just the end one, and I'm going to spread it out. No glue there on that second part of the flap. I'm going to push this down flat, and then I'm lining it up in that right hand corner. So along with the right side right there and the bottom. You could just fold your matchbook a little bit just to make sure everything is lined up perfectly. I like to use my bone folder once I determine that it's lined up nice and straight, and just press that out. So now with the end flap on the other side, again just the end flap, I'm going to apply a little bit of glue. And then for this one, I just need to fold that little flap down, not both flaps like we did before, just that one. I'm going to push this flat and then position this down, and that should line up in the left hand corner. So it should line up with that left flap and the bottom flap. And you can see what that looks like once it's glued into place. Now we can go ahead and add the rest of these little pieces. So for these, I'm just going to add some glue to each of these flaps. Again, I like to press that glue out with my finger just to make sure I have it edge to edge. I'm folding that flat and I'm placing it on that right hand corner and along the bottom corner. Again, I've got the bone folder to press that out. Let's do this other side really quickly. And then we can go ahead and add that little sign for the inside. Now we can place this little sign anywhere we want, but I'm going to place it up over that little cabinet. I'm just going to open that flap up a little bit just to see exactly where that's going to go, and then we can go ahead and glue that into place. So let's tuck that in behind everything. And then the last piece we have is that little chalkboard, that little sign for the front of the store. So let's go ahead and glue that down. Now you can put it behind the little notch or in front. You do want to make sure that wherever you place it, that it doesn't interfere with folding your matchbook. So you've got to make sure that you check that before you place this down, because we're going to fold it flat just like that when we fold up our matchbook. So you want to make sure you have plenty of room. So let's go ahead and fold in all the both sides and that flap and just double check that everything is working properly. So once that is folded, it's going to fit right inside our matchbook envelope. And as I said before, I like to create the matchbook first and then apply the glue to my envelope, just in case it gets a little thicker, depending on how much extra cardstock you add or any little embellishments that you add. You want to make sure that you have enough room for this to slide easily in and out of that envelope. And that will again slide right into place, and we can close up the envelope. And you can see it has a little bit of dimension to it. It's about 1/16 of an inch all the way around of dimension. So let's take a closer look at this finished matchbook. So you just want to open it up and pop up all these little items. And then let's take a look at the inside of our little golf shop. And this is just so cute. Great for men or women, any golfer in your life. They would just love to receive something like this. And again, keep in mind there's some brand new matchbooks coming, some additional ones. I'll be doing videos on several of these. And if you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.